So I don't know how much we have to say about this, but Annamie Paul is no longer the leader of the Green Party. She has chosen to step down, and the reasons offered primarily are her treatment within the Green Party. So we're gonna hear.
On the day of the
Oh,
election itself.
we are gonna hear it from her, and then probably talk about it. So here we go. Annamie Paul stepping down as leader of the Green Party after she lost her own. So she was running for the riding of one of the Toronto ridings. I can't remember which one, and came in like last place in that riding or fourth place, something like that.
Toronto Centre came in fourth.
Yeah, so she was below the Conservatives, Liberals, and the NDP. Toronto Centre. Thank you. So she did not do well in her own riding. Overall, the Greens lost a seat out in BC, Paul Manley's seat, but they
Sad.
gained one in Kitchener, which was also sad. Kitchener Center, and that was sad because all those Green people should have voted for Baison, who would have been a way better person. That being said,
Yeah, we would have had our first Palestinian member of parliament.
but instead we voted for a white dude because why not? And so yeah, after that disaster of an election and like ruining the party, let's hear what Annamie has to say about why they're stepping down.
On the day of the election itself in the morning, the only email that I received from our council, from the president of our council, was an email calling for an emergency meeting to launch a leadership review. And then on Saturday night, only a few days after the election, there was an announcement sent to all of the members, including myself, that a leadership review had been launched. And when I received.
Can you imagine that? I mean, like, part of it is like we get it because of like she basically internally destructed the Green Party, but like
Yeah.
she's so hated by her own party that internally, the day after the election, they sent around a email to everyone and just included her in it, saying there was going to be a leadership review.
The thing is, too, like, I think that a lot of people understand how, or misunderstand how political parties work, where they think, like, the leader has absolute power, when in reality, like, the party council or the party kind of, like, chairs or board members or whatever phrasing you want to call it. In the Green case, it's the council. The one that actually does the day-to-day managing of the party's affairs, whereas the leader is kind of just like their public face during elections, and that's about it.
So weird.
And people get that confused because like they think that the party leader is like the absolute authority, when in reality, like in terms of like the party's own internal bylaws, they're not really a yes. Politburo works also non. Um, like the party leader is not really like it's almost just like a figurehead position, especially when they don't have a seat in parliament either, so they're not even representing the party in parliament. Like,
Yeah.
and like, the complex, the legacy of Elizabeth May hangs heavy over the Greens. But also, like, I don't know, just dumbasses.
I mean, yeah. I mean, she did a terrible job, but like,
Yeah.
it really is. Again, it's an indictment if this Politburo doesn't even notify her that they're doing a review, except to notify everyone that they're doing a review. Like message sent. That is, I have to say, as much as I don't like the Greens, that's a pretty conniving way to send a message to her.
Yeah. I mean, but it also kind of speaks to like that obvious lack of ability to communicate, considering like the whole Jenica Atwin thing was also around email
Yeah.
because Annamie Paul refused to give out any other contact info for one of her three sitting
Yeah.
MPs.
To the
Like,
point where she left, like it left in a way that like went against the other shit that she thought she was being ignored for. Like, it's
Yeah.
fucking weird. Yeah.
But like, it speaks to the lack of like communication that Annamie Paul had with the actual like structures of the party as well, where it's like she actively refused to coordinate or communicate with them. So no shit, they're gonna be like kind of
Salty about it. Yeah.
like whatever in their communications back with her. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of like, oh boo hoo, they treated you poorly after you destroyed the party.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I don't know.
See what else she's got to say.
Those two things
Yeah.
at the time that I received them, I just asked myself whether this is something that I wanted to continue, whether I was willing to continue to put up with the attacks I knew would be coming, whether to continue to have to fight and struggle just to fulfill my democratically elected role as leader of this party. And I just don't have the heart for it. The election was very difficult for those who have been following. They will know that, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that when you head into an election without funding for your campaign, when you head into an election without the staff to staff your campaign, when you head into an election without a national campaign manager, when you head into an election being, again, under the threat of a court process from your party, it's going to be very hard to convince people to vote for your
It's
party.
probably her husband.
Yeah. So that's just
Husband, the dude who worked with the Bolivian coup government and the government before Morales.
It is. The funny thing is,
and I think the students are coming.
The funny thing is, she looked happier there than she did at the entire election.
I just like I don't want to engage in like conspiratorial thinking or whatever, but it just like it really feels like she was just a grenade tossed into the party. Like, I know that she had a place under Elizabeth May, but it's like what the fuck? What was the other thing that she did? The reason that the election campaign was a huge mess was that she tried to take like half of the party funds that were dedicated to the election for her own campaign in Toronto Centre, which she had already lost running twice for at that point. And
because the candidate there wasn't it the CTV anchor or whatever, like, so you're running against like
yeah
celebrity.
That was the second time that she had run.
Yeah.
Like, so the first time she had lost as well, and then this time she ran against the CTV anchor and lost. And then the third time that just happened, she also came in fourth. But she wanted to pull like half of the party funds away to fund her own campaign in Toronto Centre, which was just kind of like a "oh, look at me" campaign, because I don't remember who mentioned it earlier, and if it was here or in Discord or whatever, but like she should have run in Guelph because they have a provincial green there. She should have run in like a riding where it looked like she was more likely to win, and she should have run in BC.
Could have even run in Kitchener Center where Mike Morris is his name, whoever the guy is that
Yeah.
there.
No, like she could have run somewhere else, but she chose not to. She tried to divert party funds into her own campaign, and the party denied her that. But that whole thing was still ongoing, like when the election was called. So they hadn't lined up candidates. They hadn't lined up like anything like that. Because normally the Greens run a full slate, and this is the first election in like 10 or 15 years that they haven't. Like, and they only ran like 200 something candidates. Like, it was very, very low.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, I'm canvassing the by-election. Whoa.
How long will it be until Elizabeth May regrettably takes back the leadership of the party, like Putin becoming the Russian president?
I don't think she's going to. I think she probably. Yeah, probably. I wonder if Elizabeth May is going to wait to try to be Speaker in Parliament, which was rumored to happen in the 2019 Parliament, but
Yes,
don't know if the current speaker has like retired or anything. But like, I wonder if she's just like waiting to get a permanent position, um, and I don't think she wants the leadership back again. I think she's kind of like done with it, and like letting the Green Party die after her leaving is kind of her ultimate victory. Oh yeah, Mumalock was going off
yes.
on the NDP and
Yeah.
the Greens and just like everybody. It was great. I love
And
her.
her criticisms of the NDP were good too, which was basically she was calling out a Liberal MP who was, I guess, identifying as Indigenous, but like likely is not Indigenous.
Is white.
Just yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
but then also had some words about the Green Party because the Green Party tried to use her as an example for why the NDP were bad, basically. And
Yeah.
and I think her point is like everyone sucks, which is like fair enough, right? But I do love this. The first time Elizabeth May came up to me, she raised her hands like this, then proceeded to tell me this isn't from her land. My brain said, so why would you do it? Greens are gross, always have been. Contact for more on why Elizabeth May is disgusting and you should unfollow her. And so this is, or probably is contact.
She
That was
she did another tweet as well saying like Elizabeth May then told Mumalock that like the reason that Elizabeth May did that was because she saw an Indigenous person that like also did it. It was just like
yeah,
so
I can't express
there it
the
is, yeah.
revenge I have in Annamie Paul name dropping me and how Elizabeth May interacted with me in our time. LOL, May came up to me with her hands raised, saying it's how she met some Indigenous people once upon a time. They are both so icky and so cringe.
Yeah. So Nom, at least according to Mumalock, this Yvonne person, MP, was claiming to be Métis until 2004, and then all of a sudden claimed to be Inuk.
Yeah.
And then she voted against Labrador Inuk land claims. And it's just like, also like
so her criticism
Labrador,
of the
so
NDP,
not a place where Métis really are.
Yeah, I was just gonna say her criticism of the NDP was because after calling out Yvonne, apparently Jugmeat did not support her, which is pretty shitty.
Well, and then she said that like as soon as the like campaign was called, the NDP just like dropped her completely and just like no contact, no. We're just like, oh, you're not running, goodbye. We're done with you. So that was also kind of a shitty thing on their end.
Yeah. Yep. And
yeah.
I mean that's another way to run a good activist out of the party, which is they should have been there to support her such that she would want to run again, and then even when she decides not to run again, find a way to support her and encourage her. Because here's the even from a cynical position, this looks bad. So wouldn't you want to make sure that her exit is as comfortable as possible?
Hello, my rebels. Hello, my rebels. I'm a good boy. I'm a weirdo.